time we be pubbing on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and up C quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and bets and jets. All the time we be pubbing on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and up C quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and bets and jets.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. RaWordzPodcast, presented by your guy, LJ from Houston. Week 5, NFL. And, of course, I got my man, Tri-Wham, on the street. What's going on, my guy?
What it do, LJ, man? I'm feeling good, feeling blessed, man. Got a little something lit right now, doing it up.
Hey.
Feeling good, bro. Feeling great, man. You know how it is. Happy to be here. I'm not going to lie, though. I got to start off saying this is something hilarious. I just really heard some of the lyrics of our guy, JPZ's lyrics there. I kind of don't agree with the hitting the books from the back without Vaseline. That's kind of crazy. That's a little out of pocket, though.
Hey, for real, right?
I'm happy to be here, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, you right. It's all good, though, man. It's funny, man. You know, my man, shout out to JP's, doing the tracks for us. But, yeah, man, wanted to chop it up with you. Week 5 NFL schedule, man. We had a good one last night. I don't know if you was on the Falcons or not. You're on your team, but we had a good one last night. I cashed on Darnell Mooney props. I had the Tampa Bay first half because they played better in the first half, so I took the first half. And I had the interception with Kirk Cousins, and I had the field goals with Tampa Bay, Chase McLaughlin. So I had a pretty good night last night.
Hey, man, shout out to you. I actually didn't have no action in yesterday's game. I was all fan, and you would have thought I had thousands of dollars on the game the way I was going back and forth. So sometimes you don't need the money on the game. Sometimes it is what it is. But they did win and cover. Shout out to that. Over, pretty big over. Both teams did score in the first quarter. That was an easy capture. I was paying attention at the Thursday night. Both teams to score in the first quarter has been pretty phenomenal. Outside of that one under game, I believe it was the New England game, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that,
Jets,
that was the only one I wasn't there. But other than that, man, it's been pretty solid. So, I didn't have no action yesterday, but I did love the outcome.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. So, let's jump right into this, man. We're gonna start off with the early game, of course. We got the London game. We got the Jets. That has changed now. I guess I got to change that because the Vikings are -2.5. Where did that come from? Hold on. Let me change that. Well, I got Jets +1. All right. It's all good.
But somebody got to get it.
Hey, we can change it up right there. Jets going out to, London, take on the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are -2.5. Over under 40 flat is what I got right now.
Right.
And we're looking at the injury report. We got the Jets. We got Morgan Moses, knee, he's out. Linebacker CJ Mosley, toe. Defensive lineman, Fotu, hamstring. They're both doubtful. And the Vikings, TJ Hawkinson, their tight end, is out. That's the only injury on the Vikings side. So give me your thoughts on this London game. How you approaching this?
So, I believe this game originally opened up at 4 in favor for the Jets. I think the outcome of the last week's game kind of, made it torn on the other side. Vikings were able to come in, continue to be beaten here, and now we're seeing that this is a pretty solid spread here of 2.5. You're seeing for the Minnesota Vikings, and I think it's kind of clear, easy look is to just go ahead and take this Minnesota team, but it is kind of alarming in my opinion that this is a London game. These are the games where where it doesn't never be that easy to get these games correctly. It's always some type of shenanigans down the stretch, and I still believe that shenanigans will be a part of this game in some way, shape, or form. It's not going to be regarding the weather. No percent of rain, 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees, 10, I think 10 miles per hour winds. That is kind of a little different there. But other than that, I don't think it's going to be anything affecting this game all the way there. As far as the side, obviously, I'm going to be leaning towards what I think is the value play here. And it's the team that started off as a fucking favorite. Let me see here. It opened up. Let me double check here. If we go back, I think the Jets. Let me see the Vikings, bro. My fault, y'all. All right, my fault. I should have had this ready. I think the Jets being a favorite actually. That's a little bad information here. It did start off at 2.5 here with the Jets. So it only crept up to 3. Nothing really moved there at all. But I know the money line was moving pretty big. Yeah, that's what it was for me. Yeah. So the money line is what I'm really paying attention to. It was at plus 130, I thought I seen, but I'm guessing it's plus 127, something around there. Right now, you're seeing plus 118s, plus 120s. That's what I'm like to look into this short number. Obviously, the number is a possession. So it's not necessarily anything near here nor there. But the money line is kind of telling me that whatever this money coming in, I haven't looked at the money yet, but whatever the money's coming in on here, I'm thinking that's going to be more big bets coming in on the Jets here, and I kind of would agree with that. I kind of would agree with that, bro. Just to be honest with you, but I don't see that locked in on here yet. I'm gonna keep looking here, but I ain't gonna lie, bro. Looking in here again, I want to go straight Vikings. I'm thinking that it's like that, but it's so much of a tricky game outside of who's going to stop what. Obviously, this is the offense of the year right now with the Vikings. They've been pretty much consistent all the way around, and the Jets defense have been pretty much not necessarily non-existent, but they have underperformed so far this year. So we gotta expect the unexpected. And my unexpected is that the Jets, knowing that they have the team to be great, having those type of players like Sauce Gardner, like Quinn Williams, having those guys that can show up, show that level of all-star play, I'm expecting that to be the likely of this game, especially if I'm thinking that something's going to be a little unlikely of what we've seen recently. So I got to go with the Jets here. I'm taking a money line. Got them at plus 125, and that's the way I'm going in this game. I like the Jets all the way. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be pat for pat for the boy Sam Bradford, and I think the boy Bradford been good, and he's going to play. I do like in here.
Sam Darnold.
I said Bradford. I keep saying Bradford, bro. I don't know why I keep saying Bradford, bro. I'm old as hell. That's how you know I'm old. Bradford ain't been playing in a long ass.
For real.
The Rams shit was like in St. Louis and shit. You dig what I'm saying? All right, but no, yeah, exactly, bro. No, so I do like some touchdown props in here. I haven't pulled the trigger. I'm probably going to do that morning of.
Okay.
To just be honest with you, but the ones that I am looking at is obviously Addison. Just seemed like he just always gets to the fucking touchdowns, bro. I just like Addison all the way, bro. And then if I was to go, I think Jettis too. Jettis, both of those guys. So I kind of think this is an over type game. As much as this is a short total, I think this is an over type game. I think these guys are. I think this crowd is going to see a pretty good show here. I think it's going to be a pretty good show. So I like those two guys as far as on the Viking side. Obviously, I'm going Breece Hall all the way. Anytime touchdown, every chance I get, bro. And I think the way I'm going to go with Breece Hall is maybe a first touchdown for the Jets. Him being the first one to get a touchdown for the Jets, I think that will probably be the best play at plus 175. I think that's probably good value there. Even though it can be like a long pass, something crazy that can end up getting a touchdown. But I just think that's more likely of them getting down to the red zone, him running it in. It's like that. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. And you know what I'm saying, as far as props. But other than that, the only thing that's locked in official is the Jets. Sorry for wasting y'all 10 minutes of y'all time, bro. We already right now.
Nah, we good. We straight. That's what it's for.
Well, the Jets be lied. I say all that to say I like the Jets.
All right, well, I'm on the other side. I'm on the Vikings. Already got it. Minus 2.5. I got it at minus 105. And I'm just gonna ride the hot team. I believe the offense is better than the Jets. The Vikings averaged 29 points. They averaged 20 last year, so they improved there. They're averaging more total yards. They're rushing more, 123 yards a game. They averaged 91 last year, so they improved in their rushing game. And they're 10 for 15 in the red zone total. So when they get into the red zone, they score touchdowns. They don't kick field goals as much. But I don't like the fact that they have 7 turnovers so far in 4 games. So they're going to have to cut down on those mistakes. They usually have the lead. And I think most of those turnovers came in the last game versus Green Bay. They was trying to hold off Green Bay, and Green Bay made a nice little run in the second half to try to knock their score down. But as far as the Jets, man, if they are going to win this game, they're going to have to attack the Vikings through the air because you're not going to be able to run on the Vikings. They only allow 75 rushing yards, which is number 2 in the NFL. So Aaron Rodgers is going to have to attack that secondary. He's going to have to attack the zone. But Flowers, man, defense, he's been showing some semblances of, some schemes that a lot of people can't be picking up, so he's disguising a lot. They say he'll stack the box with maybe like 6, and then he'll only rush 3 and like 4 fall back into coverage. So he's confusing a lot of these.
That sack on, I think it was Baker Mayfield. They still was able to get that sack.
Yeah. So he's confusing these quarterbacks, man, with these schemes. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to trust the better team. I think it's a coaching mismatch as well. I believe in O'Connell more than I believe in Saleh. And I just need to see the chemistry with him and Aaron Rodgers. To try to bet on a team like the Vikings, who's humming right now. They're undefeated. They're undefeated for a reason. And if you're looking at the numbers, the favorites tend to do well in these overseas games. Sure. And the Vikings are 13-7 against the spread in the last 20, and they're 5-0-2 against the spread as a road favorite. I know they're not on the roads, particularly in the U.S., but I'm going to consider this a road game just because, they're on the road. They're not at home. So they play well away from the house. So I'm just going to trust the numbers. So I'm on the Vikings, -2.5. I got it at -105. And that is my official play.
And one more thing I will add there, not to just give you any more pushback, bro, which this is your show, you control this. But I will say that it was kind of alarming the way the defense was starting to fold towards the end of that Green Bay game. Mm-hmm. Don't allow anything to be on film that may be able to be exploited in this game. You can almost guarantee, even if Salah's not going to come up with that, I can almost guarantee Aaron Rodgers will be coming up with that on his own. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I'm hoping I hope it plays out like that.
For sure. We'll see what happens. All right. Let's move over to this one, sir.
Yes, sir.
We got the Carolina Panthers +4 road dog going out to the Chicago Bears. Total is sitting at over under 41. Now, what are your thoughts on this game, if you have any?
So, in the Carolina, so let me pull this up here. My notes here is all screaming, obviously. Why are we is this back-to-back weeks where we're seeing these motherfuckers as a favorite?
The Bears?
Yeah. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Back-to-back weeks, they favorites. They won last week. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They got it done. Yeah. And then they coming in here again, about to win again. So yeah, I mean, let's look at the injury report here. Obviously, this is where the meat of the potatoes and all the good shit. Miles Sanders is ill. I don't think he's gonna play. They may be getting their running back soon. I think next week for Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, their first round pick Brooks. They may be getting him back soon. Let me double. I think expect to review. Start the October at the earliest. So I think is it a possibility that he show up? No, I don't think so. I think he's gonna get a little repping up before then. They do got some real good stellar play from Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard been scoring a touchdown with every fucking week. He's been doing great on my damn fantasy. I put him in my lineup last week. I'm so happy I won because of him. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to bruh. I'm definitely got a lot of love and support for Chuba Hubbard. I think that the Deontay Johnson ankle questionable is still interesting. We got to keep an eye out on that. I did not see anything about him practicing. I want to double check that as I'm talking to y'all right now. That way I won't make a overstatement there, but I thought I seen Deontay Johnson not practicing. But yeah, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Actually, let me type that in, bro. But yeah, so other than that, so like other than as far as like notable injuries for the Carolina Panthers, obviously they got Edelman IR. What else? There's something else in there. I forgot, guys. Oh yeah, they got another corner that was IR'd as well. They lost the corner and they have a starting center, starting safety. Nick Scott, I believe he's nursing a shoulder as well injury. So it was a few key injuries on the defensive side. Their pass rush has been fucking nightmare though. So it's been pretty good for Carolina. Their pass rush has been pretty good. If they could get to the Bears, get this guy to go back to playing college, they could probably possibly cover and win this game. We've seen the Panthers play pretty well too, right? Like since they made a little adjustment. Eventually, they will give Bryce Young his job back. So eventually, he's gonna get his job back, bro.
You would hope.
Yeah. Nah, I think he gonna get his job back, bro. It's not no other way around that shit. He getting his job back for shit show. They didn't win last week, too. They didn't win last week. They got it done against fucking Vegas. They didn't get it done last week. You feel me? So this is a chance that what I'm saying they possibly get their ass spanked though. I think if you really I wrote down on this shit that I think the Bears are gonna win. I said, bro, you know what time it is, y'all. Yeah, I think Chicago gonna win, bro. I think they're gonna win. It's the fact that they're gonna cover. I can see this being one of those weird ass games. The fact that it's the early game too. I don't really want to touch it though. This is an early game, right? Or this is a late game?
It's early.
Yeah, it's early game. Yeah, so yeah, the fact it's early game, I kind of don't want to touch it because it's a nasty early game. One of the weak games where you see two teams that you don't even want to watch the game, and if they so happen to find themselves on red zone, you're gonna appreciate the fumbles and all the bullshit that you're gonna be seeing in this game because you're just seeing that rather than scoring. I do like this under though. I will say that as far as the team that I want to talk about, what I had it at. My fault, y'all. Yeah, as far as the team that's been pretty good to the under is Chicago. They're 1-3 to the under so far, and I think a lot of that has to do with they've been playing pretty solid defense through time through Sprouts, and this is a team that they can kind of stop them from scoring. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the injuries that they have. That's why I kind of lean towards Chicago. Carolina got a couple of injuries there. It might be a little itch. It might be a little troubling for them. So maybe it's a Bulls. Look, here I go. I said Bulls. I wasn't even trying to say that.
You in NBA mode, though.
Maybe it's the Bears first half situation, and I actually do like the Bulls this year, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I actually do like it without Rose. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. So, yeah. So yeah, all the way locked in with this game. I would go in with the Bears. I just think the defense may be a little compromised with the Panthers. Even though they offense have been finding a little bit more rhythm, you know what I'm saying, under the boy Dalton, but
yeah,
it's not gonna last long.
Yeah, I agree. I lean Bears. They're at home. They're favored for a reason. Books don't tend to, lie like that. And they've won 7 in a row at home, going back from last year. They've won 9 out of the last 10 at home. So this is the spot where the Bears play well, But the thing about it is that Carolina, since they've got Andy Dalton as their lineup the last 2 games, he's improved their offense very well. They were 4-12 on third downs before Andy Dalton got in that game, and now they're 6 of 13. So he's improved there. Red zone, 5 of 8 with Andy Dalton in there, and only 1 turnover they've had since Andy Dalton came into the starting lineup. So he's improved the offense efficient enough to move the ball, but Bears defense is better. Top 10 in points allowed, top 10 in yards allowed. And for the fact that the pass rush, I believe, can get to Andy Dalton, I believe that he's going to be limited, as far as the possessions that he can accumulate. And the Bears can make mistakes because, they have 6 takeaways on the year. So they can get an interception, get a fumble, somewhere around there to swing the momentum. probably put Caleb Williams in some good field position to where he could be comfortable enough, and I see a lot of DeAndre Swift. Carolina's giving up a lot of touchdowns to the running back, so I could see the Bears establishing a run game with DeAndre Smith, DeAndre Smith, and taking a little bit of pressure off of Caleb Williams for the most part. He's at home, so he should be more, at ease with his nerves because he's on a home field now. So all that said, I don't have an official play in this game just because I don't like, these teams as far as how they're producing on offense for the most part. And Carolina's defense is worse. They're 32nd in points allowed, 28th in yards allowed, rushing 29th. They can't stop the run. So I believe the Bears are going to attack them that way, establish the run, make Caleb, make some easy throws, and get them a nice little win at home. I'm not going to take the 4. They may win by 3, but I believe the Bears will eventually win the game.
I agree.
All right, well, let's get to this one. And let me make sure that line is still the way it is. If they're still plus, no, it's a -2.5. It's flipped. I did these matters early during the week. So
as you should. You know what I'm saying? On top of it.
Flip, -2.5 for the Ravens, right? Okay,
right.
Yeah. All right, over in the 49 still. The total still 49.
The Ravens game?
Yeah. 49. Yeah. It's still 49. Take that half off. All right. Here we go. Ravens minus the 2.5.
Interesting game.
Versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Big divisional game here, Wham. And I'm going to start this off because I got a lot of action in this game.
Go ahead,
because as people know how I like to cap, I like to take division games simply because these teams are familiar with each other. And there's a lot of things that you can find similarities and advantages and disadvantages when it comes to these divisional games, especially if these quarterbacks have been controlling the offense for a number of years, which these quarterbacks have had. When I looked up the numbers in this series, Wham, Lamar Jackson pretty much owns the Cincinnati Bengals for the most part. I mean, when I look at the number, he's 8-2 in his last 10 straight up versus the Cincinnati Bengals. We already know the Ravens numbers, number 1 in total yards, number 1 in yards per play, number 1 in rushing, 10 of 14 on red zone, 32 time of possession. I mean, the offense is humming. They got Derrick Henry back there, the workload taking a little bit off of Lamar, but Lamar still wants to run. So they're just running all over the field on these teams, man, and they can't stop it for the most part. And not only their defense is number 1 in rush allowed. So Baltimore is number 1 in rushing on offense, number 1 in stopping the run on defense. That is a success. That's a successful recipe, in my opinion, for you to be a valuable team in this league, man. But far as the Bengals, don't like them too much, especially on the defense. They give up 26 points. They're only averaging 25. That's a red flag for me right there. Rushing allowed, ranked 25th. They allow 145 rushing on the ground. So that's a bad thing when you're going against a team that's what they do best is run the football. But I'm going to focus on the first part of the game, Wham, simply because the Baltimore Ravens are great in the first half. And how great they are in the first half, I'm going to give you these numbers, especially versus the Bengals. First of all, the Ravens are 9-1 against the spread in the first half on the road since 2023, going back to last year. They're 16-7 against the spread in the first half overall, in that span. 16 out of the last 22 games, they've hit the first half against the spread. And when I looked at the specific matchup versus Cincinnati, the starts that Lamar has had, like I said, he's 8-2 straight up versus the Cincinnati Bengals. In the first half, when he starts, they are 8-1-1 straight up with an 8+ point margin in that first half. So, not to mention the Bengals so far at home in the first half, the 2 games that they played, they're 0-2. So, all that said, Wham, I am on the first half, minus the half, minus 105 for the Baltimore Ravens. I've already locked it in. I'm very confident because they give up leads. So I'm going to trust the Ravens come out fast, versus the divisional poll, put them maybe by 14 points on them, establish the game. And at the end of the game, maybe the Bengals will come back, try to make it a game, and eventually come down to the wire. But hey, you never know. I believe the Ravens will take care of business easily. I'm looking at Derrick Henry's anytime touchdown because I think the Bengals have given up a rushing touchdown three of their first 4 games so far. And I wouldn't mind looking at an over. Just because both of these teams, I believe, can put up points. The secondary of the Ravens is shaky. They give up 257 passing yards, which ranked 29th. So Joe Burrow can maybe establish some offense in the air. They're not going to be able to run the ball. So he's going to have to establish some offense in the air in order to have a chance to be in this game. But all that said, I'm just going to stick to the first part of the game, which the Ravens excel the best. First half, minus the half, minus 105.
I could dig it, bro. I could dig it. And man, bro, I'm really this one is a tricky game for sure, being that it's a divisional game. It's over for the Cincinnati Bengals, right? I mean, at this point, they're gonna have to trade guys and shit. That's what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we don't even know if what's going on with this with the Chase shit, right? Isn't Chase still acting weird
I
around the
mean,
team?
he still want his money. Yeah, he's still looking for his
He
money.
still want his money. He ain't. I don't think he on the injury report or anything though, right? He's
Nah, he not.
nah, nah,
Let me make it official though. Let
nah,
me
he's straight.
see.
Nah, I can just
Yeah,
look at it right now. He
nah, he
good.
good.
They actually are pretty light too on this injury report. They don't really have that many injuries or anything like that. It's just this team, man, is just not good defensively, bro. Like they're not good, man. It's just like what they've been doing recently is just not solid, bro. They ain't been able to hold opponents to, over a few touchdowns. Like they just getting smoked. They lost to New England, bro. Like that's week one. They lost to New England.
Right.
Gotta let the record reflect. Like this shit is not a good team. The Bengals should not be a favorite at home, and they aren't. And Baltimore is a small favorite on the road. That's the thing that's puzzling me because yeah, you expect Baltimore to be able to run the ball on these guys and just do whatever they've been doing so far so good, but something about this game is tricky, bro. And one thing I do want to correct and I do want to give you pushback on, you said they've won, I believe, just two in the last few against the Baltimore Ravens. I think you said 2-8 or some shit like that. It's actually if you add regular season, I think that's correct. But if you're
Yeah.
doing if you're doing playoffs, it's a little different. It's a little
Yeah, I didn't
different.
count playoffs. I did regular season.
Yeah, playoffs, which is more recent, sizable. I think it's actually since 2021. They matched up about 7 times. It's 4-3 in favor of Cincinnati of winning those games. But again, that's because they have a high power offense. They got guys that's trying to get to trying to get this total over to the fucking total. And the total right now is one of the highest. It's never been over. And I want to look at this in the history of this matchup. It's never been over 49. Every time it's been placed at 49 is went under. But the last the last 4 opportunities these guys made up, all 4 of those meetings went over the total. And the last one was 46.5, 34-20. Baltimore Ravens win and cover. And I kind of think that's what we're expecting today, that there's some fight for the Bengals and the Ravens just win and cover this game. But I'm going to just probably say that this might be more than just some fight. There may be a little bit more defense that we're expecting in this game. Might be a boring ass fucking game. And that's the way the Bengals going to win this game. Maybe they need to play, stack the box and try to make Lamar throw the ball. Maybe it's the opposite, instead of them trying to make the Bengals throw the ball. It's obvious. Maybe they try to do a little bit more of a cat and mouse on the other side there. And I think that this game, the fact that you're seeing some money coming in on the Bengals is my worry here because it's like a clear, obvious Baltimore spot. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is a good team. They're going up against a team that's struggling and they could be fire selling soon. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. They could be fire selling soon. But maybe this is too much of an investment to fire still, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just bought those Apple Vision Pros and you got those things, you got them on your head. And yeah, this shit is heavy as hell on my head. I don't really want to sell it because I'm not going to get what I paid for. That's how the Cincinnati Bengals feel. They can't get rid of this fucking team just yet. This is too expensive. You know what I'm saying? For this small market ass team. And
Yeah.
even for the NFL, it's probably in their best interest for the damn Cincinnati Bengals to be up in this game. So that alone got me thinking zebra activity. And when we got to think zebra activity, don't think your money is safe. You know what I'm saying? Don't think your money is safe. And logic is never safe in these type of scenarios. So that's why I'm thinking Bengals here, to be honest with you, bro.
Okay. Hey, I'm not mad. Divisional game. Like I said, that's why I'm taking the Ravens early because they could throw it away in the second half, in fourth quarter. You know, anything could happen. So I'm just going to trust them early and just get in and get out.
Right, man.
All right, sir. Damn. The Texans are the favorite now? Is that what you see?
I'm seeing Texas -1.
What? The Texans have flipped to the favorite?
I think people are putting their bets in now for the weekend, man. We're starting to see a lot of
Okay. Well, let me change that right quick. Texans -1. Interesting.
to the aces is what I want to know.
Huh?
I said, are they parlaying that to the aces tonight? Or that's what I want to know.
Aces should win.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about this game. My hometown team, Buffalo Bills, coming off an embarrassing loss versus the Baltimore Ravens on national TV, mind you. Coming down to the Houston Texans to take on these Texans, man. Texans, as I see, is a -1 favorite. And the total is sitting at 47 right now.
And a half, I see at Bet Online. If you like
47 and a half.
If you like the under, 47.5 at Bet Online, but they're giving you juice there.
And as far as the injury report, we got a lot going on here, man. Let's start off with the Bills. We got Khalil Shakir ankle, Taylor Rapp concussion, Ed Oliver hamstring, and Austin Johnston oblique. All are officially ruled out. Terrell Bernard pectoral, cornerback Teron Johnson forearm are questionable. For the Texans, Joe Mixon ankle, Derek Barnett shoulder, Jerry Hughes hip, all have been ruled out. We got Damian Pierce hamstring, Jake Hansen back, Kurt Hendish calf, Dylan Horton illness, Robert Woods foot, and Titus Howard offensive tackle hamstring. They're all questionable.
What about Tank Dell? What we hear
Tank
about
Dell has been ruled in. He's good to go. He's cleared to go.
Let's go. I got him starting this week. I need you, bro.
So as I look at this game, Joe Mixon is very viable, in my opinion, imperative for him in this matchup. And that's one of the reasons why I stayed off. Not to mention the Bills I just mentioned, coming off an embarrassing loss. And I usually take teams that come off a national TV embarrassing loss to bounce back the next game. So, but I'm more looking at an under just because the Bills, I believe they're going to try to limit the possessions of CJ, try to keep him on the sideline, run the ball, establish the line of scrimmage, and just dictate the game to where it don't get out of hand. Because once CJ gets on a roll, he gets on a roll, man. He got Nico humming right now, averaging over 100 receiving yards. And this could be a Stephon Diggs revenge game. He's probably going to want to get some get back versus the Bills. So I may be looking at his receptions, not so much his yards, because he's not really an over-the-top guy like that. He's really short-yarded. So he may get some receptions, maybe a couple of receptions, 4 or 5 receptions, 6, somewhere around there. I'll be looking at. And like I said, Nico's yards for the most part. He's leading the league in receiving yards right now. So, but as I size it up, Wham, I'm just hesitant because Joe Mixon isn't playing. And that's where you attack Buffalo. They're vulnerable in the rush. They're allowing 5.7 yards per rush, which is last in the NFL, giving up 56 yards on the ground. So if we can't establish the run game, CJ's going to be out there trying to pass. And I believe that's going to work in Buffalo's favor. Just make him look at some different schemes. Even though he's money, in my opinion, when it comes to those type of situations, I just think that's a lot to overcome if you can't establish a run game because he needs to play action as well. And you can't play action if you don't have a run game. And you kind of get one dimensional when you know these teams are going to pass on you. So
Yeah.
Buffalo, they rely on the big play a lot, which is one of the reasons why they only averaging 55 total plays. And Houston is number one at 67. So I think that's going to be the attack plan for Buffalo. Limit those total plays for the Texans, and we need to get more than 55, for Buffalo. So all that said, man, I like all the advantages the Texans have offensive wise and defensive wise for the most part, but also the penalties have been killing the Texans. Self-inflicted wounds. They've had 35 penalties with the 296 yards in the last 3 games. That's an average of 11 and a half penalties for 98, close to 100 yards. So that's putting you behind the 8 ball as well. So if they don't fix that situation soon, man, that's going to probably hinder them in a lot of big games, especially this one. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going to stay off. Just because the Texans had trouble versus Jacksonville, even though I know that's a divisional game, they still had to gut that win out. It didn't come easy, and for all that said, I'm going to have to see them play better without Joe Mixon for me to invest my money in them. So all that said, I'm going to pass on this game. Lean the under because Buffalo is 14 out of the last 18 road games have gone to the under. So I strongly lean to the under, but I just can't invest in the Texans right now without Joe Mixon in that backfield.
Yeah, man. For me in this game, it's a few different ways of attack. I'm gonna go Tank Dell. Like I was mentioning, as long as he's in the game, I'm gonna attack his points. I'm sorry, not points, but his yards, receiving yards, and obviously his receptions. I think his receptions you could get laddered up to 7 at pretty good money there. It's at 3.5 juice minus 150. So you get the 7. I think it's gonna be really good change there. I think he's gonna be a decoy. I think it's gonna be decoys time for Diggs. So I think they obviously, yeah, you want Diggs. Diggs gonna be burning shit. He's gonna get his first initial looks, but it will not be a full plethora of Diggs in this game. I think they have too many guys to not just focus on one. You know what I mean? So, and like you mentioned, as long as they got him out there, with Nico, with the boys out there, I think that this is just gonna be a good set. And you said Robert Woods is out though, right?
He's questionable
He's
so
questionable.
far, right? Yeah.
I do want bro in. I do want in. I
Yeah.
want more of that Mary out there. That way my boy Tank can really get open and get it cracking. Um I think his rushing, I think his receiving yards is shown pretty solid. He got 7 targets. I'm sorry, 7 targets originally in the first game. Only had 3 receptions. Only had 1 reception in the Chicago game with 4 targets. 5 receptions last game. And the reason why I think he's going to continue to get an uptick is because as long as he's showing that he's healthy, as long as he can get in there and they keep giving him a light workload at practice, they're going to keep running him and ramping him in the game. And I think that that's only going to allow him to get more rushing yards, more receptions. I'm sorry, more receiving yards, more receptions, and then possibly a touchdown in this game. So I'm going all the way Tank Dell today in this game. I like Tank Dell, and I do agree with the line movement. I think the Texans are going to win this game. The Bills fucking suck, bro. They're not a good team. They haven't really showed us shit, and I think that the Texans team, they just had a tough schedule. Start off, you know what I'm saying, and they're going to keep getting tested throughout this shit. So this is another example of them having a pretty tough schedule, but this being at home, and I think it favors them in the grand scheme of things, if I'm not mistaken. I'm off our charge to be bull crapping, bro. Yeah, I think in this game, this is a great significant advantage on the travel side for them. The fact that they were on the road, Baltimore, so they was at home, stayed on the East Coast, went to Baltimore. It wasn't really that big, but now they got to go play, play Houston today, tomorrow, on Sunday, whatever the fuck. I think that's going to be a little bit more, more fatigue on their behalf than it is on Texans, I think, in this game. So some of these guys that are hurt, like, that was a little bit banged up, let's just say, I think they're going to play pretty well today in this game. So I like Tank Dell, bro, to be the guy that's show up. I like the fact that he's going to continue to get more targets too, and eventually going to get to that touchdown here. He's got 7 in his career, none this year. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real, bro. He gonna get a touchdown sooner or later, bro. So I think it's gonna be for sure in this game, and I think he's gonna go over his reception and he's gonna go over his receiving yards. So it's Tank Dell for me.
Hey man, not mad at that. First game back, well, not first game, but he's been gone for a while, so he wants to get establishing that offense and get some production going. So I'm not mad at that at all. All right, we're gonna jump around here because we don't have to do Miami and the Patriots simply because it's not a money line on that game, and I'm not interested in anything in that game. Both these teams are at the bottom of the league in all offensive categories, so there's no need to waste our breath on this game. But we're going to talk about this game right here. We're going Cleveland Browns plus 3.5 now, I see. And going out to the Washington Commanders over under 43.5. Now, another game, well, that I am heavily invested in. It's a lot going on here. And I just want to pick on a vulnerable offense. And the Cleveland Browns offense is pathetic, to say the least. They have a lot of injuries on the offensive line, which doesn't help. And these guys are only averaging 16 points a game, and they're giving up 22 points a game. So automatically, I fade you when you're giving up more points than you score. Right there alone just gives me a red flag. Not to mention, Wham, they've went under their team total in all 4 of their games. So it's not looking good over there with Cleveland. Deshaun Watson, he's not looking like the quarterback we once saw playing with us. And I believe the run game is hurting him too because he doesn't have his running back. He doesn't have a run game to establish the offense. So he's dependent on to make plays and be Superman out there. And that's not the quarterback that he is, man. They're ranked 31st in total yards, 246. They're dead last in yards per play, 3.9. And they're only averaging 3 of 13 on third down conversions. So they're not even staying on the field to produce points. And when they're on the field, they're not producing. They've lost by 3 out of their last 4 games. They're 0-2 versus the NFC East already. So all signs are pointing to the Washington Redskins, my guy. And I'm going to be on them. I'm going to take the 3.5, whatever the number is right now. I'm on Washington because every single offensive category Washington has improved from last year. And I mean every single one. They have improved. They clean house. They got a new owner, a new GM, new coach, new offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. He has Jay Daniels over there looking like a rookie of the year candidate for sure. And I like Washington. I like the way they're playing. And I said this at the beginning of the season that this could be the potential of how the Texans looked last year. New coach, new quarterback. You get what I'm saying? Washington is looking exactly the way the Texans looked last year. They have a fearless quarterback that looks like he's just been there before. Nothing rattles him. He can run too. He's a dual threat, but he stays in the pocket first. And if he has to run, he'll run. And that's what I like about Jay. He can make the throws he needs to necessarily make in this league. So all that said, Wham, I am on Washington minus 3.5. And I'm also on the first quarter over, simply because 3 out of the last 4 games, Washington has gone over in their first quarter, and Cleveland 3-1 to the first quarter over as well in their 4 games. So I think it's going to be early points, early 7-7, maybe 14 points right there in the first quarter. That puts me on the over, and I'm going to be on the full game Washington. Now, a couple of trends I want to tell you before I stop. Number 1, the Washington Redskins, have scored in every single quarter except the very first quarter in their first game versus who did they play? Tampa Bay. They didn't score in the first quarter. Every quarter after that until today, they've scored at least 3 points. So, number 1. Number 2, you're going to like this one. Teams that have played the Arizona Cardinals in their previous games are 12-5 straight up, averaging over 25 points in the next game. So, all that said, I am on Washington minus the 3, and I am on the first quarter over. It should be 9.5. You got to get 10. It ain't out yet, but we will make it official on the script on Sunday for sure. But Those are my two plays in this game. I'm also looking at Brian Robertson. He hasn't been ruled in yet. Actually, let me look at the list now because I think he was dealing with something. Brian Roberts. Let me see. Brian Roberts. Okay, it doesn't look like I don't see him on here. Brian Robinson knee questionable. So he's still questionable. If he's ruled in, I'm
I
gonna
thought
take his
practice. I seen him practice, I believe, or something
yeah,
like
but it
that.
said Washington C. Robinson Jr. returned to practice on limited basis on Friday. So they're opening up the door slightly for him to play in week 5. So it's a possibility. But if he gets ruled in, I'm on his anytime touchdown. Simply because the Cleveland Browns have allowed a rushing touchdown in all their games so far. And if you go back to last year, the very last game, they allowed a rushing touchdown. And they allowed a rushing touchdown in the playoff game that we beat them, in our home. So
Right.
the last 6 total games, they've allowed a rushing touchdown to the running back. So that's how I'm looking at this game, Wham. And I'll hand it over to you, my friend.
Nah, I'm fucking with everything you said. And you got me right on to looking at research. I don't see them playing Tampa Bay this year. So I think
Washington, the first game, the very first
you
game.
said Washington. You said Washington.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they haven't scored, but the Browns have scored in every first quarter.
Yeah.
Every first quarter this week. So you know where I'm going with this shit. Both teams have scored in the first quarter at plus 155. Bet online. Say
Yeah.
it ain't so. I'm fucking with that all the way. I love this play. This is all the way locked in on that. And then both teams, both teams can definitely get it off. And if I was to put anything on one side, I'm going to say the Browns first quarter. If you want to take a side, is probably the side I would rather go here, especially the fact that they scored 10 points in that last game. Yeah, they've been scoring every damn game in the first quarter. And I think that that's a really, really, really strong play. So there's no need for me to even try to nitpick in anything else. Obviously, I think even if you do have Brian Robertson in the game, the fact that he was hurt and you getting Austin Eckler with a whole week of rest, you get a chance to probably rest one, sit the other type thing. And you're going to get Austin Eckler to have a big game in here. So I'm going to think Austin Eckler upon game time. We're going to have to make this official on the script for sure. But I am thinking Austin Eckler receptions and receiving yards. Maybe the combo is the way I want to go here. Yeah, I think that's probably the way I'm thinking here is Austin Eckler towards that over. You know what I mean? Maybe even towards the touchdown. Because I know the last time he did play, he did get a touchdown. That was his first of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if that start to heat up. And Austin Eckler becomes the touchdown guy. And right now, I think he's one of the favorites to get a touchdown at plus 110. Brian Robinson is at plus 100. But plus 110 with Austin Eckler sounds good to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I would be going here. Both teams to score plus money. Austin Eckler plus money at any time touchdown.
Right. I'm with you. I'm right there with you, buddy. Let's get this money early and let's get paid in this game because I feel good about this one. Definitely. All right, man. Let's move over to this one. Thought I had it saved. I guess I didn't have it. Hold on. Let me type it in. Dang, I thought I had this better up. My bad. My bad. Patience here.
Which one you
how we
want
do.
I'll
We're
go
doing the
first.
Raiders versus Denver.
Listen, the Raiders won like a miraculous game last game, but we'll go straight to the injury report because that's what matters right now. Obviously, I don't got the exact on Max Crosby. This is old news, but I do know that he was questionable. That's going to be a major guy, obviously, to keep an eye on. I know Zamir White just got ruled out today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's
They got 7. They got 7 players ruled out already.
and we all know about Devontae Adams and the stuff about the trade with him. So in this game, bro, this shit is all the way fucked up for the Raiders because they're another team that's been possibly looking at a fire sale now because just based off of what they did with Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is probably like the main thing that kind of shown that this incompetent fucking organization still, and they doing some incompetent shit, even though they got a nice fucking stadium over there, which we were just at in UNLV game. That was a great stadium. Shout out to the Allegiant Stadium, but the team that owns that stadium is out here acting crazy, and they running. It's kind of coming back to them. Bad karma with the what was the wide receiver with the car crash shit.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's kind of started off with that, right? And then eventually they get rid of Derek Carr or do some weird shit with Derek Carr, right? Sit him or didn't they bench
Mhm.
him or some shit like that?
Yeah, they
Uh,
benched him.
they benched him and do some shit like that. It was crazy. Then he ended up going crazy and them, and you still see him hooping. You still get to see him hooping over there as as Adams, as Devontae Adams. That shit got you hot. So hell yeah, I need to get traded. Get me up out of here. So
Yeah.
I understand where they're at right now as far as relevancy and in this particular game because they got a great coach. That's one thing they did get right. I think the coach situation right now, the culture that he's presenting, that is contagious. That's the reason why they won the game last week. You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff is in their favor be on that behalf. But this team lost to fucking Carolina. Like,
Mhm.
let's go back to the basics, bro. When you lose to a whole bar ass team, we are gonna call you a whole bar ass team too. You feel
Mhm.
me? You are a part of that suggestion. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, you beat the Cleveland Browns, which I think the Cleveland Browns, yes, they probably just, whatever the case, that was just a weird ass game. But they lost there, yeah. I would still think that this Denver team, even though it was a nasty game last game, I think they are on a momentum thing. I think it's a momentum thing with the Denver Broncos, and
Mhm.
I'm rocking with them. I'm rocking with the Denver. I'm
Mhm.
rocking with the Denver Broncos here. I think they are favored for a reason. The
Mhm.
elevation is going to be a little tricky for Vegas, but one thing I do know is that Vegas possibly are coming in here with the better defense, especially if they're going to get Crosby in this game. There's going to be key injuries to be added in at game time, but this is a division game that's going to matter for sure later on, I believe, when it gets down to the ranking and how these teams end up progressing. There's going to be a trade with the Raiders. We do know that. Is
Mhm.
that trade going to make the Raiders better, or is it going to make them worse? It can possibly make them better, or it could just make them worse.
Mhm.
Obviously, getting rid of a all-star wide receiver, it's going to make all-pro wide receiver is going to definitely hurt you. Well, Hall of Fame wide receiver is going to hurt you,
Mhm.
but you're not going to be able to get that in return at all. But what you can get is future compensation, and you could get something
Mhm.
right now that could possibly help you out and better your team. You know what I'm saying? As something else, maybe like a defensive player, something like that.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I think that this is a cook situation for the Vegas
It
Raiders,
is.
and it's
It
going to
is.
show in this game.
Yeah.
And this is a nasty game, but I do think this is a over. Vegas has shown us that their games is not that low. You know what I'm saying? Their games are not that low, even though they have been hitting unders. If I'm not mistaken, let me double check. I believe in their last few games. Okay, so last game went under. Last game went under with the Cleveland. First game went under with the Chargers. Other than that, those other two games were over. But I think that had a lot to do with Carolina having Andy Dalton just playing out of his fucking mind. That game was probably going to go under if you really be technical, thinking that you had the same game. If you thought Andy Dalton was going to be higher, you probably would have had this total a little higher and probably still would have went over. But it still would have been a little higher than 40.5. So I think this game is a little too under. I think it's a little too under. This is possibly going to go over in that regard, just because I think that the Raiders don't be having those type of games. They got better defense, but they don't have that type of games where they don't be scoring. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, I
where,
disagree.
where's where it coming from? I don't know. I'll
I
say that.
disagree. I'm on the under 35 and a half. I already locked it in. And you said the Raiders defense is better than the Broncos? No, 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 Wham. No, 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 it's not.
I
Denver
think so,
defense
bro.
is solid, my friend. I'm talking about 14 points a game. They allowed 24 last year. So they improved there. 256 yards allowed. They allowed 370 last year. They improved there. Not to mention 110 rushing allowed. They allowed 137 last year. So all the defensive stats have improved. Not to mention number one stat on the defense, 4.2 yards per play allowed, which is number one in the NFL. So all that said, Raiders, 7 players ruled out right now. They don't have any offensive weapons, in my opinion. And they're dealing with the drama with Devontae Adams. I think that all sets up for the Denver Broncos to take the Raiders to school. I'm talking about to the woodshed. And I believe it's a coaching advantage because I think Sean Payton is a more established coach than Antonio Pierce. So, Sean Payton knows what his quarterback can do, Bo Nix. He knows what he can do, but he's going to rely on that defense to limit the Raiders' possessions, make it very hard on them. They probably get a couple field goals at that. I don't see Gardner Minshew doing anything on his defense that Denver Broncos haven't seen already. They went up to the Jets, took care of business versus the Jets. Coming back home, I believe it's a good spot. And I'm looking at the first quarter, Denver as well. They've hit the first quarter against the spread 16 out of the last 20 games. So once that come up on Sunday, I'm going to be looking at that to take it early. But I'm on the under 35.5 simply because I don't believe the Raiders would be able to score enough points on this Denver defense. And Denver doesn't even have to score points in order to win because we saw that last week versus the Jets. So that's what I'm on, baby. Under 35.5 is my play.
I get it, bro. I get it. And I love it. I ain't gonna lie. I love it. I love to hear it. It's just something that's in my bones. I can't lie what's in my bones, bro. But I know that Denver is 1-3 towards the under. They're under team. That's why I didn't mention them, not holding any teams or anything. I went straight to the damn Raiders. I think that they don't play that type of ball.
Shout out to Big Show.
I think Denver gonna score. I think Denver gonna score. That's why I think they're gonna win. I think Denver gonna score. But yeah, man. So what's the next one though? What's the next one?
We got the Arizona Cardinals +7. I see it's now 7.5. And I like that. I like that 7.5.
Why? Why is it 7.5? What has San Francisco did?
Over under 50.
Who are they getting back? Are they getting something back?
I don't know, but this game is interesting. And full disclosure, I'm going to be on the Cardinals, man. Plus the 7.5. And I'm just going to stick to the underdog trend that's been hitting the first 4 weeks. Underdog, 6+ points or more, or 14-2-1 against the spread. This is a divisional game, so I love divisional games because it's a lot of similarities in this team. Now, the Cardinals came off a tough loss last week versus the Washington Commanders. And the 49ers, who did they play? The Patriots? They beat the Patriots last week, right? Okay, right. They beat the Patriots. So they're going to be at home again, so they don't have to travel. So that's an advantage there. And I believe they win the game. I believe it's scoring early as well. The 49ers have hit their team total over in the first half, 3 out of their 4 games so far they've played. So I'm looking at a first half over. 9 out of the last 11 games at home, the first half has went over. And they've also won the first half straight up, 16-6 in the last 22. So all that said, I believe the 49ers eventually win the game. But I think Arizona keep it close, man. I believe that they're going to want to come better effort than what they showed last week. And I believe the 49ers are dealing with, a couple of injuries that they're probably not going to be able to overcome, especially Christian McCaffrey. But they do got Mason back there. So it shouldn't be that much of a letdown, in my opinion. But I'm looking at props in this game. I'm going to make them official on Sunday. But I'm looking at Brock Purdy over 1.5 touchdown passes simply because the Arizona Cardinals have allowed touchdown passes in every single game, 2+. I'm looking at the running back, Mason. His rushing touchdown is -235. So you're going to have to parlay it with something to get value on that. So I was looking at a 3-teamer, Wham. Let me see what you like about this one. I have Brock Purdy over 1.5 touchdown passes. I have Jordan Mason, anytime touchdown. And I have Ayuk over 59.5 receiving yards because he's averaged 98 receiving yards in the 4 games that he's played with the Arizona Cardinals. And he hasn't had been getting good production. I believe that he used these first 4 games of the season to get his preseason because he wasn't in training camp and he didn't get any reps during the preseason. So he used these first 4 games as his preseason. Now he's about to ramp it up. And I believe that this is his coming out party versus a team that he has had good production with. So That's going to be my official parlay prop. I think I got it at plus. Let me see. I got it at plus 292 is the parlay right now. But I'm not making it official, just throwing it out there because that's what I'm going to be on Sunday. But official play for this game, Arizona Cardinals plus the 7.5, minus 110. And I hand it over to you, my friend.
So yeah, like the last game, 5 targets. Game before, 10 targets, 5 targets, 5 targets. Obviously, something around 5 targets. In his games against the Arizona Cardinals, 5 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets, 4 targets, 8 targets, 4 targets, 2 targets. Has he had a touchdown in one of those games? He had 2 touchdowns in one of these games against them in the November 21st. Then that year prior, he had a touchdown against them again. The year prior, around November 7th. I think that he has a chance here to do it again, bro. I do like that look there a lot. He's had 100 yards, 100 plus receiving yards against them before, and that wasn't the 2 games that he had the touchdowns there. So I do like that look a lot, though, bro. And then you know, eventually you're gonna ramp up. You're gonna ramp up and get right. And I think that's only going to imagine what type of help he's going to give this 49er team once that happens. I think that's the same for this Cardinals team, and in the cohesiveness for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray. I think those two are going to be revving up and getting better at time, getting better through time. Similar with Brock Purdy and Ayuk, I think those connections will improve through the weeks. And this could be a game where that can happen. Obviously, this is a high scoring total. The total in the first quarter is 9.5. That is typically the number that we want to pay attention to when it is both teams to score and see what type of odds, what type of favorable odds could we come up with in this. And as far as the Cardinals been one of the teams that we've been taking advantage of. They've been scoring in the first quarter. The other teams ain't been fucking contributing with them sometimes. So that'd be the only issue there. But in this game, I do like that both teams scored first quarter. And you know what? Out of all the ones that Bet Online are offered, they are not offering this one right now. That is quite interesting. Shout out to Bet Online though, bro, because I know I'll be betting this shit. Cause yeah, that is interesting as hell. That's interesting as hell. I thought I seen it though. But okay. That gives me another indication that this one is one of those games they don't even want you to bet it yet. It may even give it off. They may not give it off unless somebody complain about it or something. You know what I mean? I'll be the guy that complain about it, guys. And I'll Saturday, like, hey, what's going on with y'all? Why y'all got this? What's going on?
Yeah.
Where else? I'll be that guy. But yeah, so for both teams to score in the first quarter. Matter of fact, I gotta check Boyd. That way we could get some reference here because we gotta shop around. One thing I wanted to make sure I let people know this week. The key this week is shopping around. Everyone is not getting the same information. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is not getting the same information. You got to understand that part. And once you understand that part, you could get real with yourself. Shopping around not only is going to give you the better edge against all the books, it's the only advantage that you have. Really the only advantage that you have when it come down to the shit. So I just want to make sure I just elaborate on there. But as far as both teams to score, I just want to see if I could get Boyd's perspective. Both teams to score plus 128. Plus 128, that would be a play that I'll make. Because we've been getting plus 155 in the Browns game. That's going to be official play. Browns Commanders, both teams to score plus 155. This one plus 128. I think we probably get around the same on Bet Online too. So that'll be where I'm going here in this game. Both teams to score. And I do agree with your Ayuk look, bro. It looked like he does get the targets, the love, and obviously they need him. So shit.
Already. Like it, buddy. Let's move on. We got 3 more games left. We have the Green Bay Packers -3 going out to SoFi to take on the Rams, +3 home dog, over under 48.5. And I got a lot of action in this one too, Ram. I'm loving
Okay.
this game. I'm taking advantage of a vulnerable defense. And the Rams could possibly be the worst defense in the NFL for the most part. They're allowing 28 and a half points, which is ranked 31st. 385 total yards, which is ranked 31st. 6.4 yards per play, which is worse than the NFL. 165 rushing yards allowed, which is worse than the NFL. 219 passing yards, which is only ranked 21st in the NFL. So
Perfect.
they did a little bit there, but they're allowing opposing quarterbacks to average 72 completion percentage. So when we come to that, we have Jordan Love on the other side with the Green Bay Packers. And the Packers offense could possibly be the best in the NFL. Well, I mean, when I'm looking at the numbers, they are humming, bro. 26 points a game, 400 yards total, 64 total plays, 6 yards per play, 174 yards rushing, 7 of 15 in the red zone, 31 minutes time of possession. I mean, everything they've improved on from last year as well, besides, with the total yards and points, all that. And this is an interesting matchup for his coaches too, Will. Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur. They were on the coaching staff with Mike Shanahan back in Washington when they were all coordinators. So they have history. And I looked up the records. LaFleur is 4-0 versus Sean McVay in his career. Now,
That's
you
dope.
about to take him on again, and he's wounded far as on the defense and offense as well. You can't run the ball. So you can't run the ball or stop the run. So that lets me know that you can't even stay on the field to get possession, and the defense is on the field because they're tired because they're getting gashed with the run game. And I believe Green Bay is going to attack them in that way. I was looking at Green Bay as down two receivers for the most part. I saw the injury report. Let me see. Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs are doubtful. So they
Yeah.
could be down two receivers, but they still got Jaden Reed. They still got Wicks.
Right.
They still got some receivers that Jordan Love can get some production from. And like us, all that said, man, I am definitely on the -3, and I'm gonna double up in this game. I'm gonna take the Packers first half because they're 83 against the spread in the first half on the road, their last 11 games. Not to mention one of your favorites. They're 3-0 to the first quarter over. So both teams score is an interesting look as well. Also, the Packers team total over 8-2 in their last 10 on the road. So they're scoring points on the
Right.
road. So all that said, my guy, I'm on the first half with the Packers. I'm on the full game with the Packers. And I'm throwing my prop out there. Jordan Love over 1.5 touchdowns. Jaden Reed over receiving yards. I don't have it right now, but I'm going to take his receiving yards simply because the Rams have allowed the number one receiver to average 142 yards 3 out of their last 4 games. So all that's lining up to a Packers smash spot, wham, and I'm all on it. Packers early and often.
I like the way you coming with all the damn momentum and the stats here. This shit seems so easy to me though. Fuck, it seems so easy. And I ain't gonna lie, the Rams at SoFi is the most fixed football I've ever seen in my life, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, I know the 4-0 record against LaFleur and McVay.
Yeah.
That's stingy too, homie off their homie. He really out here dirty macking. He out here cock blocking my boy McVay right now. McVay might eat today though. I think McVay might eat, but I agree with you. I don't have no action here. I just don't like this matchup, bro. I'm just not gonna be I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm real sketch here. Just because it seems like one of those, yeah, it seems a little too easy. But this is one of those afternoon games. So, we get a chance to like kind of watch it out a little bit and see how this is gonna really play out. This is one of those games that, yeah, this is gonna be clear cut how we expected it to be. So yeah, I think that right now as it's constructed, even with those receivers out, like you said, with Green Bay, they still probably going to have a better offense because the main injuries of Puka Nakua, of Cooper Cup. That shit just so hard to come by from, and they got Demarcus Robertson out now. Like, god damn, this motherfucker got a growing injury. Like they just keep getting injured. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, practice squad guys can't fucking make it happen, man. This is not the Miami Heat of the NFL. They can't just get Gabe Vincent off the court and just make them come out here and get contracts. I don't think they got guys like that. So I'm staying away from this game all the way, but I'm hoping that you win, bro. I ain't gonna lie, because it really sounds enthused. I'm gonna lead it to you, my boy. I'm gonna lead this one to you.
Yeah, I just want to take advantage of the Rams, man. The defense is wounded right now, so I got to take advantage. All right, 2 more to go. Let's run through this one right quick. Giants plus the 6.5 going out to the Seattle Seahawks. Over under 44. Seahawks coming off Monday Night Football. I think that was a good loss because even though Detroit won that game, Seattle still put up like 400 yards on them, and they were moving the ball on the Detroit line. So Seattle, they didn't play bad. They just lost the game. A couple of mistakes here and there probably cost them, but they were right there in that game, in my opinion. As far as the Giants, they coming off Thursday night, long Thursday night, like 10 days rest, man. So they've been chilling, coming off a loss versus Dallas. So they got to go cross country. And we're looking at the injury report. Giants' main 2 players are doubtful right now. Malik Neighbors' concussion protocol and Devin Singletary with his groin are both doubtful right now. Adoree Jackson is calf. Andrew Phillips, Matthew Adams are all questionable. As far as on the Seahawks side, you got Brian Murphy II hamstring, Cameron Young knee, Boye's knee, and Julian Love thigh, all questionable for the Seattle Seahawks. So when I look at this game, another dog plus 6.5. But do I want to take Daniel Jones 6.5 without his main weapon with Malik Neighbors, who's just been a monster the first 4 games? Not really looking to do that. Seattle, like I mentioned, they're at home. They're averaging 25.5 points a game. They've hit 23 plus points in every game. So offense has been humming, 387 total yards, 5.9 yards per play. Number 1 in passing. Geno Smith is number 1 in passing yards, 280 yards, and they can run the ball at 106. Giants are ranked 30th in rushing. So that's the advantage right there. Seattle can pretty much run the Giants off the field, especially if they don't have Neighbors and Devin Singletary. They're 2 production guys on offense. So they're gonna have trouble moving the ball. But the Giants, 21-12-1 against the spread as a dog, 14-6 against the spread off a loss. Both of those stats are since 2020. But all that said, I'm not going to jump on this right now. I'm just going to look and see how my Sunday's looking. I may just throw a dart at the Giants to cover. But without Malik Neighbors and Devin Singletary, I'm not confident in it for the most part. But Seattle, when I look at them, like I mentioned, they played a good game versus Detroit. But their 3 wins, I mean, who do they play, Wham? Denver, Bo Nix, Patriots, Jacoby Brissett, Miami with a backup quarterback? I mean, It's not the stiffest competition that Seattle has been dealing with. So, for all that said, I'm going to stay off because I want to take the Giants, but they're just too injured, for the 2 main players is which reason why I'm going to stay off. So, all that said, I lean the Giants plus the 6.5, but I'm not making it official.
I can understand it. In this game, Daniel Jones possibly was going to throw a pick.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a good bet.
I can see that. Yeah.
I will be honest with y'all there. Receptions wise, Wandale Robinson, you got to go him. If there's not going to be any Malik Neighbors, you got to go to the next guy that's going to be there, that's going to be able to catch the ball, at least. So, you got to go him on the receptions. I wouldn't trust his yards because he might end up being a lot of slot catching and shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, fuck it. I might not, be there on his yards, but for the most part, I like his receptions. And, yeah, man, other than that, that's pretty much the only thing I will say in this game. Yeah, baby, both teams to score in the first quarter. I know the Giants have been scoring overs in the first quarter. I think they're the number one over team in the first quarter, 4-0 in the first quarter so far. Other than them and the Cowboys are both 4-0 in the first quarter. Been profitable if you've been betting their first quarter over. So maybe both teams to score in this game. Seattle is not like that though. Just to be keep it all the way a buck with you. You know what I'm saying? They're not like that. So, you know, it is going to be kind of interesting to see how these two match up here. Because to be honest with you, I think the Giants got to look. I think the Giants got to look. Just sketchy. It's weird ass game. Especially this is one of those games I definitely don't want to fucking force it. Um, being at this afternoon game, it's a little better afternoon games like that Packer game we were just talking about. I'm gonna be probably locking in on that game. If this hits the red zone, then shout out to Geno Smith for making it happen. I think you know what I'm saying. And I think if it's gonna be anything on the Giants side, their defense has been pretty impressive. Not gonna lie, their defense have been pretty impressive. Every time I've been able to catch them games and watch their games, I haven't watched the last game. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think I watched that last game. Who was the last game they played? They
The
played Dallas.
Giants? Yeah,
Yeah,
they played Thursday night.
yeah, I didn't watch that Dallas. I didn't watch too much of that Dallas game. I was watching it, but I wasn't watching too much of it. Because I think I was live or some shit. But what else gonna say? Yeah, but other than that, though, I think the Giants. I think the Giants' defense is pretty solid, though. But yeah, man, I don't really got too much other to say. But Warndale, I think Warndale Robertson is where I would think the sharpest play would be. Just expecting him to get an uptick just because Malik is out.
Yeah, I get you. Another interesting thing I want to mention about Seattle, their schedule. They're coming off Monday night. Now they're going to play Sunday. Then they got a Thursday game coming up. That's 3 games in 11 days. So that's kind of a sandwich spot. So they're going to slip up in one of these games because I think they have the 49ers on deck Thursday night. So they may overlook these Giants right here, you know, so you never know. Metcalf is a good look as well because the Giants have trouble with the number 1 receiver. So I may look at a Metcalf anytime touchdown by Sunday as well. So I'm going to do a little bit more notes and see if I can get to that. But as of right now, I'm really strongly leaving Giants plus the 6.5. But I hate Malik Neighbors is out because he's a money machine. Yeah, he's a money machine. All right, well, last game of the night, and I need to change this because this line has changed as well. We have the Dallas Cowboys plus 2.5.
Oh, man.
Road dog going out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sunday Night Football, ladies and gentlemen. We have over and under 45.5. Now, looking at the injury report, let's start off with Dallas. We have Michael Parsons' ankle. We have Brandon Cook's knee. Both have been ruled out. Cornerback Kalen Carson's shoulder. Trayvon Diggs' quarterback ankle. Maurice Lafleur quad are all questionable. Now, when we look at the Steelers, Alex Hinesworth, groin. Jalen Warren, knee. Cordell Patterson, ankle. McCoy Pruitt, knee. All of them have been ruled out. Russell Wilson, calf. Larry Anjaboye, groin. And Jeremiah Moon, ankle. All questionable. Now, I am all on Pittsburgh in this game just because Dallas cannot run the ball or stop the run. And guess what the Steelers do well? Well, they run the ball and stop the run. So, completely mismatched here. I'm going to be all on this game. I just like, you know, when the Cowboys struggle, just because their fans need to understand that Dak Prescott is not that quarterback that's going to take you to the mountaintop and you can ride his shoulders to a victory. His defense has to put him in positions to score. He has to have a run game. And the only person that the defense knows he's throwing to is CeeDee Lamb. So all that stuff is predictable. I believe Mike Tomlin is going to have an excellent game plan just to pound the ball down Dallas defense throat. And that's all you really got to do. So, hey, we're looking definitely at Najee Harris rush attempts. We're probably even looking at Justin Fields rush attempts because
Mm.
both of those guys can establish the run. Justin Fields can take off at any time, especially if he sees a rush coming and he can't, his receivers are locked up. So he always has the potential to do that. And not to mention Tomlin, 7-4-1 against the spread last 12 versus the NFC at home. He's covered 3 out of the last 4 games at home in prime time. And Dallas, 3-6 against the spread as a road dog since 2022, which is worst in the NFL. So the fact that Dallas cannot run the ball, Dak Prescott is going to have to be throwing a lot. And I don't trust Dak Prescott to throw a lot, because when Dak Prescott throws a lot, guess what he does? Throws turnovers. So interception is a possible play in this game as well for Dak Prescott. But all that said, man, I'm all on the Steelers minus the 2.5. The offense is better. Time of possession, 33 minutes. And the defense is solid. And I believe that they're going to play conservative. They should be able to control the game with the rush offense. And the defense is going to disrupt Dak Prescott just enough to make it difficult for him. And I believe Pittsburgh ends up winning this game minus the 2.5. And I'm also leaning towards the under 43, just because 19 out of their last 22 games at home, Pittsburgh has gone under the total of 44. So that's where I'm at, Wham.
I get it, bro. I could dig it, man. Shit. This game, whoo. This is a tricky fucking game, man. This game is tricky as hell. All right. So as far as recently speaking, Pittsburgh has been pretty much unbeaten. They did lose to Joe Flacco last week. You know what I'm saying? They did lose to Joe Flacco last week in the Indianapolis Colts. Interesting ass game that was. You know what I'm saying? Interesting ass game that was, the way they went down and lose that game. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
Dallas was able to beat the Giants, a team that coming into this year, we thought they was gonna be smacking on the Giants. Like, you my bitch. They barely beat the Giants.
Yep.
You feel me? They barely beat the Giants, bro. Recently. Now, full game, full season wise, there is a blanket under there. I think that you're gonna say that the New Orleans Saints and Baltimore are just better teams than Denver, the Chargers, and even Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? You could say those teams are probably even better than Atlanta. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though Atlanta is probably number 1 in the damn division, still up for grabs. Like, that game was kind of a one-off type game. I think the Saints gonna probably beat Atlanta next time, so people are still gonna be like, "Oh, the Saints are better." I think there's still a good narrative that you could bring that up, right? So Dallas coming into this game, they can actually make some noise. They can make some noise in this game, but the fact of the matter is you look at the fucking roster. How we was talking about the Bengals defense. You look at the damn roster, you look around the guys in the room, y'all just came in here to get paid. Nigga. Like, I know y'all get paid. And bro, bullshitting with y'all. He like, I'm about to land the fucking plane on the damn field till we balling out.
Yeah.
Like, that's how these niggas is acting. Like they acting like they don't give a fuck about winning, right? Like, so as a better, knowing that this game is fixed, right, y'all? Knowing that the things that you don't normally expect to happen happens, like I was saying before. I wouldn't be surprised if Americans team win this game. And when I say that, I'm talking about the Steelers. The real Americans team, bro. All that bullshit about the Cowboys being American team is bullshit. This nigga out here is trying to stunt on people that's poor, bro. He for the plane. He telling y'all, I don't give a fuck about us winning. I'm out here talking about these meat sizes of the people that I'm drafting,
bro.
Some crazy shit, and then I want to just land the shit on the like, bro. You where the freak offs? What freak offs he be coming from? You know what I'm saying? Because bro living that life. I already know bro living that life. So neither here nor there. At the end of the day, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers is the only way I'm going to end up betting in this game. and that's obvious that you're gonna say under, but I'm gonna go both teams to score on this in the first quarter. I'm gonna
Mhm.
take that shot in this game, even though I did say the first quarter the over was in favor for the Giants. They went 4-0. The Cowboys are another team that went over in the first quarter. So I know that this first quarter is not as small as the other ones. You feel me? Especially in that damn what you call game we just talked about. So I like this game to go over in that regard, but I like the both teams score in the first quarter the most. And then I would think the Steelers, bro. The Steelers winning this fucking game. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
If the Steelers lose this game, we're gonna know early on the Zebras are with the Cowboys, and we can easily hedge out, y'all. Just be live, keep your eyes open. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta be a espionage and hit this shit and win some other way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This, this is one of those games that you might be looking at a middle, bro. You might be able to middle this game because it's gonna be a little bit back and forth here, little tennis, and then boom, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be shown. Oh, they called it a little weird ass call in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. Like, hey, we gonna see it. I like this game though. This is a tricky ass game though. No games, because this is so much history about America between these two. You know what I'm saying? This is giving you that, oh, this is America's team. Which one is the real America? The
Yeah.
flashy landing they shit on the field, they doing this shit, or the grimy, muddy Tomlin always bringing it out the mud. They got Justin Fields coming in here
Mm-hmm.
scoring on everybody, bro. Justin
Yeah.
Fields is scoring on everybody, bro. And that's why I said maybe you could say that they played better opponents with Dallas. Dallas probably played better opponents. You know what I'm saying? They probably did play better opponents. When you go back and peel the banana back, pause. You're looking at the shit like, well, they probably did play better opponents, but Pittsburgh is not sure for any of that. And I think the defense is obviously as legit as it could be. Where is it gonna come from? Is it gonna be Waddle? Because you ain't getting it from Zeke. Fucking CD's bitching and complaining after every fucking game. I'm tired of hearing him having people like, we don't want to see bro on the screen. I
Yeah.
don't want to see bro on the screen. He ain't gonna never say the right shit you need to hear, bro. Don't put bro on the screen. Just let this nigga like, hey, bro, right? Read this card, bro. He get some my player questions. He needs to A or B, my nigga. You need to get that nigga A or B, bro. Hey, I'm telling you, I ain't trying to talk too much shit, but I think that the offense ain't maybe not as cooking as much down the stretch for Dallas. I think to enough to win this game. I think Pittsburgh keep coming. I think they're gonna keep
Yeah.
coming. Just similar to how you see now that that Falcon game was yesterday. At first in the game, Tampa Bay kept coming, winning, scoring and scoring, and then
Mhm.
Falcons had to figure that shit out. I think this is gonna be one of those games. Dallas, if they don't come down and figure it out, maybe that can be Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way they're gonna win this game. They're gonna need Dak to be Kirk Cousins and come down here and win this fucking game down the stretch. That's
Yeah.
the only way they're gonna win this game, and I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the Steelers gonna win the
Yeah.
cup. Yeah.
I don't think so either. I believe we get a good cash on the Steelers Sunday night. And Dallas is gonna be Dallas for the most part. All right, well, we have made it through the schedule, sir. And appreciate you for coming on and let them people know where they can find you, my friend.
Man, you already know Trot Wham on Twitter, Who Banging Sports Talk. Y'all can find me there, and y'all can find me on Pub Sports Radio as well Mondays with my dog Sesh, with Tabby Cab, and the boy Dutch Boy Fresh, and all the everybody else. My dog LJB in there as well.
Mhm.
Shout out to people in the chat though. Big Show, JT, Top Tier, Handicapping, Kenwood, Flea Mathis. Appreciate y'all. Y'all already know we don't do this without y'all. Appreciate y'all for showing up. And yeah, man, let's win this money this week.
Hey man, I'm right there with you. Like I said, I always thank you for coming on with me, going through the schedule every week. And we will be live on Sunday with the script. 10 o'clock, around 10 or 9, somewhere around there. We got an early game, so we
We gotta
probably be talking the script while the game is on, Minnesota.
pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, y'all tune in on Who Banging Sports on YouTube. Sunday morning. Come back to LJ from Houston Raw Words Podcast early Sunday morning. I give out my best props that I've narrowed down. See if we can get some money in these football Sundays. So until next time, everybody, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm LJ from H-Town. That's my man, Try Wham. And we out.
Time we be pubbing on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and up see quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and yeah, R-A-W, words being served, no concern and no trouble to get that dough. Money on my mind, if it's money all the time, we be pubbing on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and up see quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and vets, injects cash in your pocket.